Hi, good afternoon. We are in 3.4, rotations in the coordinate plane. Reflections were 3.3. Translations were lesson 3.2. And the next 3.5 lesson will be dilations. So we're going to talk about rotations in the coordinate plane and really just, how to perform them. And by the end of this lesson and tomorrow's lesson, or the rotations lesson, whether it's tomorrow or next week, the objective is to be able to identify, perform, and determine the rules for rotations in the coordinate plane. I think it's more important to know how to perform a rotation than to know the rules, but you're going to learn both, okay? So the components of a rotation. If I were to describe this rotation that I see here, I would need to know the center. Every rotation comes with or is described by the center of rotation, which in this case is a point, and for this one it's the origin, okay? A direction, so whether it's going clockwise or counterclockwise. Of course, clockwise, the hands of the clock go that way. Counterclockwise is in the opposite direction. So if we look at this rotation, this was a counterclockwise rotation. Okay, and then it also has an angle of rotation, whether that's 90, 180, or 270 degrees. And in this case, this was a 90-degree rotation because there was really just, we went from one part of the coordinate grid to the other. Okay, so that's 90 degrees. All right, so that's one turn. 180 is 2 turns. 270 is 3 turns. Okay, so let's look at the investigation down here. And I'm going to bring this in a little bit closer. All right. So for this investigation, it says that we're going to rotate this triangle ABC, 90 degrees, 180 degrees, and 270 degrees around the origin or about the origin counterclockwise and then fill in on the coordinate grid here and then fill in the coordinates. So I went ahead and I did the 90-degree or the one-turn rotation, and I'm going to show you how I did that. What I looked at was, okay, we have this triangle. It says counterclockwise, so I know I'm going to be moving it in this direction. Okay, the origin is the point of rotation. So what I'm going to do is, since I know I'm going to move it into this quadrant, I'm going to turn. I turned my whole coordinate grid around. Okay, so I turned the whole thing around, and instead of looking at it as that's my y-axis and this is my x, I look at it as, since I turned the whole grid around, I'm also changing the perspective on the grid, meaning now that I'm looking at it from this angle, I'm changing this to my y-axis, so this now is my y-axis, and that's my x. So what I want to do is just plot the coordinates of the pre-image. So if I look for, 1, 1, 2, so the coordinates for the pre-image were 2, 4. So I'm going to plot them on this reimagined grid. It's not really remixed. I just turned it around, and I'm using a different y and x axis. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. I plotted that. B, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, plotted that. C, 1, 2, 1, plotted that. And once I was finished plotting all of those points, I turned it back around. And then I looked at those points as, okay, these are the rotated points, okay? So what that means is when I started out, I plotted these after turning my grid. Now that I've turned my grid back to its original position, all I need to do is identify these coordinates and write them here. So C is -1, 1, 2. B, -1, 1, 2, 3, 4. A, -1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, -4, 2. Okay, so we're going to try that together with with the 180-degree turn, okay, with the 180-degree rotation. So 180 degrees means that I need to move twice counterclockwise, okay? So once and then twice. All right, so I need to turn this twice. All right, so this was with one turn, and now I'm turning it again. Okay, 2 turns. And again, I am going to plot the same points that I had for A, okay? I'm sorry, for the pre-image. So the pre-image points, again, this is my y-axis, that's my x-axis, this is the bottom y, this is the left part of the negative side of the x-axis, all right? So 2, 4. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, and I have to label it, and that's A prime. And for 1, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, that's B prime prime, excuse me, it's double prime because we already used up a single prime. And then C, 1, 2, up 1, and that's C double prime. All right, so what I'm going to do now is get it back to its original position and then connect. Alrighty, so now what are the points for A, B, and C? Double prime, okay? So A double prime based on the fact that, based on the fact that I got my graph back to its original position, is gonna be my A double prime is 1, 2, right? Negative 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. So it's gonna be negative 2, negative 4. My B double prime, negative 1, 2, 3, 4, negative 1. My C double prime is going to be negative 1, 2, negative 1. And so these are the coordinates of this figure rotated 180 degrees, 2 turns. So this is with 1 turn, that's with 2 turns. Now, for the 270 degree, I need 3 turns. Go ahead and try to do it before I do. So, meaning pause now because I am going to do it now. Pause the video, try it yourself with the 3 turns, and write down the coordinates and see if we match up. Okay, so I would pause the video now if I were you. If not, just go ahead and keep watching. So, if we're going to do 3 turns, that means 1, 2, 3 turns, and we're going to end up somewhere in the 4th quadrant, okay? So this should say 4, and this should be 3. Alrighty. So, like I did before, I know I want to end up over here, so I'm going to turn 1. So that's 1 turn. Okay, again, let me just show that to you. Again, I'm going to kind of lift up my monitor here. So 1 turn, 2 turns, and 3 turns. So I literally just turned my grid 3 times, all right? Just turned the grid 3 times. And then, again, I'm going to look at this as my y-axis, that's my x-axis, and plot the original figure, meaning the coordinates of the pre-image. I'm going to plot them here, all right? So 2, 4, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. That's going to be A triple prime. Okay, and then 4, 1, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. That's going to be B triple prime. And then 2, 1, that's going to be C. 1, 2, C triple prime. Okay, and then connect them up. All right, and then let's turn it back to its original position and then read the coordinates. So if you paused and you did it yourself first, hopefully we have the same coordinates. For C triple prime, the coordinates of C triple prime are positive 1, negative 2. The coordinates for B triple prime are positive 1, negative 4. The coordinates for A triple prime are +4, -2. And that's how we did those rotations. So this is my method of doing rotations. Some students are able to do this and figure out what goes where without having to do all this. And there are also rules that apply to rotations. So if you look at the next page, we're going to address this in video 2. Again, I'm going to make a 2-part video for this because I don't want this one video to go on for too long. So please stay tuned for the second page of this video.